Brazilian celebrity Anitta recently did an interview in English, and I have to say I was actually pretty impressed with how she spoke. It really did have a very natural feel. But if you are a Portuguese speaker learning American English,
or really anyone learning American English,
there are a couple of sounds from this interview that I think would be helpful to review. They include these sounds here. And if you're not sure about what these actually mean, that's okay. Let me show you. Oh, and if you have a favorite song by Anitta, by the way, let me know in the comments. Up first is the O sound, like in go or home, that O. Now, it's a sound that English learners tend to exaggerate because they learn it's a diphthong. They think you have to make these exaggerated movements with your mouth. But the reality here is that when you make an O sound, it doesn't need to be so crazy. It's just oh, mouth slightly closing, lips a little bit round but not too much. What I often see is students finishing this O sound with a very tight ooh. It's like oh, but that's a little bit too tense, a little bit too much. Let's do some comparisons. Specifically, we're going to be looking at Anitta and how native speakers would say the same phrase in American English.
1 year ago?
3 years ago? A couple years ago, but not too long ago. A few months ago.
What I'm hearing is a sound that it feels like it's getting stuck in the back of the throat a little bit. Right around here, not enough air is coming through. Also, in terms of placement, it feels like we're more up here towards the top of the throat versus the bottom of the throat. Or how about this phrase? You know?
You know?
Next up is the schwa sound. Never heard of it? Think of the sound that you make when you're thinking. A little tip for this sound is you want to push your tongue a little farther forward, like against your bottom front tooth, to try to open up in the back to let more air through.
So she's dumb.
Sounds dumb. Dumb. Dumbest idea ever.
Again, one difference between hers and these other native speakers is that she's blocking off some of that air, most likely because the back of the tongue may be a little bit too high or a little bit too back. Also, her throat might be a little bit too tense. Another potential reason that this is causing a problem is that link between the vowel and the letter M. It's like, What a lot of people find is that when they have a consonant after the vowel, that consonant actually has an impact. It changes how that vowel sounds. So if you think that your schwa sound is kind of sounding like hers, here's an exercise you can do. Take a word like sun. Let's break it into some smaller parts. First, just say the schwa sound. Then add one of the letters. We can add the S. It's like s, and then add the rest of the word. So for instance, s, sun, sun. Ideally, all of those vowels should sound the same in each of those versions. So if you record yourself and you listen and you hear that maybe one of them is okay or two of them are okay, but maybe that third one's not quite the same, it helps you identify where the trouble is. Also, this schwa sound appears in other words. For instance, like the word other.
Other singers.
Other than that, each other, and other.
One letter you want to be really careful of is the letter L. For Anitta, it's giving her some trouble when it appears after a long vowel.
what's long vowel?
There sounds like the E in steal or the A in sail. Steal, sail. What do you notice about these words? After you make the long vowel, it's like the E or the A, you're going to add a second sound, this like in a word like fall or in a word like bull. Listen again and see if you can hear it. Steal, sail. Compare these and how Anitta pronounces the word feel.
That's how they feel.
People feel better.
Feel less anxious, feel alive.
Today, I feel like
The last sound I want to take a look at is the sound, like in best or get. For this sound, you want your tongue to take up a lot of space in your mouth. So you're going to raise the back, the middle, and the front a little bit higher. Also, your mouth is going to be relatively closed. Straighten your lips a little bit. They don't need to be round. So again, like in a word like next, or in step. Another trick as well, push your tongue a little farther forward against your bottom front tooth to again open up air in the back of your mouth and in your throat. compare how Anitta says next step to some native speakers.
Okay, next step.
The next step.
The next step.
The next step.
Another concept that would really benefit Anitta would be placement. Never heard of it? Check out this video here.